Welcome back to yet another toy unboxing, and this one feels very appropriate. For as we get closer to a nativity scene, we need characters that can, well, visit, I suppose. You know, like travelers from afar. Like the Traveler from Genshin Impact in Nendoroid form. That's right, it's Aether. Yeah. I've been sitting on opening these for a bit, and now I am finally opening them up. And yeah, those of you who know me know that I have been pretty into Genshin Impact the last couple of years or so. I don't actually play as Aether, but hey, it's Genshin merchandise, so naturally, you know I'm going to be a sucker for that. So, getting the box open for the Nendoroid, let's see what we've all got here in terms of stuff. I mean, we've got the 90-degree elbow bends. That's one thing for sure. And we've got a bunch of faces, but let's take a look at the figure proper. Alright, so, yeah, for those who don't know, I suppose, Genshin Impact is a Chinese game made by HoYoverse, or formerly known as miHoYo. It's not an MMO, contrary to how it might look. It is a really fun game, though. Yeah, it's a very fun game. There are, multiplayer, meetup components to it, but it's largely story-driven, and we're only a couple of years into what is clearly going to be a multi-year game story. We probably won't hit the end of the story at the rate it's going for, until year 5 or so of the game. So, it is a fun game, though. It is a very fun game. And with that said, as soon as I got the Traveler's head off, as soon as I get his hair off, I am going to, there we go. I can just do that instead. All right, so let's show off the Traveler, shall we? Now, the game protagonist, the Traveler, he has the player name, and yeah, Aether is the, I guess, quote-unquote official name for the character. I actually mained the other main character that they have for the game, but he'll still show up in my stuff either way as the missing sibling. But yeah, it's fairly standard Nendoroid posability. We have, all the things you would expect. It's not one of the hyper-posable ones, so it's just the standard stuff. Yeah, legs are a bit limited by the sculpting. The sculpt limits leg articulation. There's not really a lot you can do outside of that. Arm articulation, pretty good. Pretty standard for an Nendoroid. Waist, again, is... Wow, yeah, there is not really much of a waist articulation. It's pretty much completely limited just by the underside stuff there. But, hey, it's still, way more posable than a Funko Pop, and actually looks more like the character. We do have articulation on the scarf, though, interestingly enough. And, I mean, the cape is a separate piece, as you would have seen, and as is the ponytail. And yeah, just looking at the head sculpt there, yeah, it's a good likeness of the Traveler, just in a chibi form. So, just getting the hair off, I'm then going to showcase the 2 other heads that we have for this. This is the neutral face, obviously. The Traveler is not the most expressive of characters in the game. There's only a few, even with conversations, there's not actually that much voice dialogue for the Traveler. But we have this one here, which is a bit of an angrier one. It feels to me like this one would be more befitting of the, the missing sibling. Because, whichever hero character you pick for the game doesn't actually, they still show up in the game just as a missing sibling, and it is plot spoilers to say more about, the role that they play. But yeah, there's that head, and this one is a bit of a more neutral, a bit of a more sad one. This is something that I can definitely see the Traveler having in the game, just in in-game cutscenes and such. They are a mute protagonist, even though they have a voice actor, and it does kind of suck they're a mute protagonist because, well, the voice actors are really passionate about their roles in the game. And I know, the voice actor for for Aether, for instance, yeah, he spends a lot of money on Genshin Impact, just on the character drops. So yeah, I am just going to swap back on the neutral face and look at what else is in the box. Looks like this is also a little bit loose too. A little bit of stuff on the hair tuft, so you might want to be careful with that. But let's see what else we have. We've got those expressions there. There will be the usual Nendoroid stand. And I'm just going to pull that out now. Yeah, the usual Nendoroid stand, so now I can actually display him standing up. I'll give this to Funko Pops. You can actually stand them. They just all look the same. I mean, I say this, and Nendoroids have a common art style. So what do I know? I'm just a bit of a weeb buying toys. That's all. Calling out other people who buy a lot of toys of the same sort of toy line thing. But yeah, just standard. Plug this in, and it just plugs into the back hole over here. Interesting that they made the peg this long, though. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at that in a sec. But for now, just let's just not peg that in quite yet, and just take a look at what else is in the box. As I mentioned, we got the 90-degree elbow bends. We've also got a hand here that's got a hand in it. This is for holding the sword, it looks like. Yeah, what else do we have? Yeah, we got another 90-degree elbow bend here. Like this is for the other hand. And we got another hand. We got another arm here. This one is, yes, alternate leg. Again, these are all fairly standard figure parts. Nothing really new. Yeah, this one here, though, we will want to take a look at, though, because he comes with his sword as well. And interesting, he comes with a set of joined hands too. I'm assuming that's that you can just do a pose with him just posed with the sword. That's kind of cool, honestly. So yeah, we got the sword here. Yep. I can't remember which. I think this is one of the basic swords in the game. Yeah, this is one of the very basic swords, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I'm going to swap it into this hand here. And there, now the Traveler has a sword, so I can just swap out his arm, and voila. Or rather, I swap out his lower arm, and voila. Or rather, I just pretend that I know what I'm doing, because I clearly don't. Yeah, it is the full arm I swap out. Okay, it just seemed off looking at the posing. Yes, there we go. So, yeah, so we have a bent hand, and he now holds a sword. Okay, so that is cool. That is pretty solid. All right, and last thing we have in the box here is, and this is probably explains why that's so long, we have his glider. In Genshin, you get the gliders for the characters there. Lets you travel long distances. Basically, think Breath of the Wild. And it looks like they just, because the glider kind of just appears above him. So it looks like that they just designed it so that it just pegs inside the little 5mm port here. There we go. Yeah, now he's got the... Actually, let me move the hair out of the way. That will probably make a bit more sense if I plug the glider under the ponytail. And in like so. So now we got now we've got the glider on display. Yeah, I'm not going to display him with the glider, I don't think. Just in case of, well, I don't really want to put him in the flight poses. So that's going back in the box. And as for this, yeah, I'll bet that they did the long peg here because of like details like the scarf and stuff. Just to make sure that there's enough clearance for the scarf to actually have some breathing room, which is cool. But yeah, there we go. It is the male Traveler Aether from Genshin Impact. Of course, mind you, this review has a pretty obvious implication as to what the next one was, especially since I said Travelers. That's right, it's Lumin. Or Lumine, the other hero character that you can pick as a player in Genshin Impact. This is the one that I actually use in my games of Genshin. So let's get her open so that she can be with her brother. Like, yeah, no, I just really like her design. And yeah, she comes with a different glider, as we can see here. I'm probably not going to bother with posing it out. But yeah, different glider, and she has what looks to be... Yeah, is that the same sword, or is that... It's not quite the same sword, but it is a very similar sword. I'll show this in a sec. But yeah, getting her out, again, it is the female Traveler. Not really a lot to say about her, like from a lore standpoint that I haven't already said. I mean, again, yeah, like, talented voice acting in this game. I know some people do prefer the just to play the the foreign dubs of this game, and that is completely understandable. It's a very subjective opinion there, whether or not it's the whole sub versus dub thing, really. And admittedly, I am normally a sub person, but yeah. Anyway, here we have Lumine here. Yeah. Again, it's the standard sort of articulation. I mean, she's got a little bit of more of a range of motion. Well, no, not really. She's got a little bit more of one in the waist, just on account of the fact that she's got the skirt there instead, so there's less blocking her posability. Range of motion is about the same in the legs. Not a huge difference. One thing I just noticed here, her scarf pegs in by a very small peg there. It's all clear plastic, so yeah, just be careful with that. Like it popped out already, like while I was posing with her. And then yeah, she's got like the stand port in the back. There's really, again, with this one, it's just, I mean, Nendoroids are pretty standard posability. And we have her face here. Yeah, wow, this is already popped out again. I'm just going to leave this off to the side while I change the faces. After I show off this one, yeah, we can see fairly standard face. I mean, it's got they picked different sets of expressions, which is kind of neat. Like, it's a bit more of a neutral one, like a one, which is kind of neat to see. But getting the hairpiece off, let's take a look at the other faces in the box. So we've got the neutral face. She also has a bit of an angry face, I suppose, as well. And yeah, I guess the angry faces do show up in the cutscenes a bit too, like when she's like charging at someone or something like that. So yeah, so here's like the more emotional, angrier face that she has. I've definitely seen this type of face in the game, so thinking about it. Often it's her reacting to something, and it's, often a place where I would really love the voice actors to actually get to emote. And we have this final face here, and this is probably the one I'm actually going to display her with, honestly. But it is just, it's a more neutral face. She's got a little bit of a blush on her cheeks there, as we can see. And yeah, I just really like it. It's good. She's got the same hand options as her brother as well, just with the same 90-degree bend hands and stuff like that. And I'm just checking to see. Although it looks like that the hand that holds the sword there, it's actually on the opposite side, on hers. That's kind of neat. Yeah, so she's a southpaw. Again, very neat. We don't see southpaws super often and stuff. So let's plug this hand in, and as soon as I can get it to actually go in looking somewhat natural. All right, here we go. Yeah, this one, it's not posing quite as well as it did on Aether there, so probably just because of like her hair. But yeah, she does have that one there. Here we go. Okay, yeah, so we can do that there, and then I can just go back to the box, pull up the tape, and get her sword out as well. Again, you can see it is a slightly different sword. It doesn't have the gold. It has more of a white hilt to it. And there's her with her sword. Yeah, she looks pretty good with this one too, I guess. I don't know how much I like her with the sword, though, having said that. It's weird. Like, I'm probably going to display her with the sword, but yeah, I mean, she just feels like she would look better with a more neutral pose, especially when you have the hair interfering. Although, I might just be able to rectify that by mixing and matching some parts. Let's see. If I do this, yeah, if I do this here, and I pose the sword like so instead. Okay. All right, yeah, I think I'm a lot happier with this actually here. I just mixed and matched a few of the parts. Plugging the torso back on, and yeah, that looks a little bit more natural as far as poses go for her holding the sword. So yeah, now we just plug this back on. Again, this is a little bit loose, the actual the scarf there. And yeah, turning her around again. Yeah, no, some gorgeous detailing on this figure. She looks really good. She looks very good. And I guess I won't waste time here, so I'll just pull up the stand and do some final thoughts. So, final thoughts. I don't know how much else there is to say, really. When we get games based off of characters and IP that I'm really into, and, you know, like, especially, like, when I'm sink as many hours into it as I have Genshin, yeah, getting merchandise and toys of the figures is always something that catches my attention, especially when it's stuff like Nendoroids and Figmas and the like. Are in fact like more Genshin pieces of merchandise that are slowly starting to trickle out. And I mean, heck, like my desk has a whole bunch of Paimons on it. And in fact, I'm actually a little surprised they haven't even announced an Android Paimon yet. That's kind of like necessary to finish the trifecta here. So with that said, yeah, these are fun little representations of the Traveler. And this is General Techno signing off until the next review that I do the next day. Have a good one.